I need to start by acknowledging Ashif. He, in a small way, is a big part of why I do what I do. I direct social entrepreneurship at Brown University, where I have the privilege of working with young people who have a vision of a world that we don't see today. They see possibility where we see difficulty. I am hugely inspired by them and hugely humbled by Ashif, and I really feel privileged to have been in his presence today. I'm going to tell you my story because it helps you understand how I have worked with students at Brown to help them find purpose and impact in their lives. And I'm going to tell you that story through my own path to Brown that has 3 chapters. Listen to Ralph, that small voice in your head or my best friend who helped me find my purpose. Sit outside the bathroom or anywhere you need to be to immerse yourself in the stories of the people you seek to help and develop empathy for their situation. And finally, doing what you want to do, doing what you need to do is often really scary. And it often requires a leap of faith, and you need to just close your eyes and jump. So my own story starts in 2004. I had decided to leave a family business after a dozen years, and I had no idea what I would do next. I found myself volunteering for the school where my children attended, and the school was in a terrible crisis. Enrollment was down. The financial situation of the school was in ruins. Parents were worried about their children's education, and funders were reluctant to write checks because they doubted the school's future and viability. And I found peace where others found conflict. And I knew that to save the school, we needed to come together as a community. And so I began to listen to people in coffee shops, holding town meetings, and slowly but surely rebuilt the confidence of the community in the school and developed a common vision of what success might look like. In the middle of all this work, the head of school suddenly resigned, leaving the school in an impossible situation because without confidence from the community, we would never find a capable head to lead the school again. Throughout this process, I had sought counsel from my best friend, Ralph Wales, who led one of the most successful and prestigious independent private schools in our community, because he actually knew about the work that I was doing in a way that I had never understood it. And he had a very clear understanding of what needed to happen next. He told me that I needed to apply for the job. It was the most foolish thing I had ever heard, except that he convinced me that I had already been doing it. I had brought the community together, and he saw natural talent in me as an educator. He had seen me with my children, with other people's children, and seen the joy that I had when I saw them understand something for the first time. And he knew instinctively that I knew how to teach, even though I had never set foot in the classroom. I didn't apply for the job, and I didn't take him up on his offer to work at his school, because I doubted that I ever really had the skill to be a teacher, but he didn't. But I knew from his strong suggestion that teaching would be a part of my life forever, and that I needed to find a way to make that happen. But it would take some time. The next chapter of this story happens at an organization called Amos House. Amos House is an amazing organization working in my community to help hundreds of people who suffer from a range of obstacles, whether they're returning from prison, whether they are suffering from addiction, or a whole range of other issues. And one of the most important barriers facing that community is employment. They need to know how to work, and they need opportunity to work. And so this organization had the vision that they could create a business that would both employ people, create income for the organization, and in the end, prepare people for life after Amos House. Except when I arrived to help this business, the business was in ruins. Customers were dissatisfied because the level of product and service quality was extremely low. And I had an instinct that this was because the business was constructed to help people rather than to serve customers. But I didn't know how to disrupt that balance without somehow harming the people we were there to help. My office was outside the bathroom, and the bathroom was an important crossroads at this organization because it was a large organization and only one bathroom, and so people often stood in line. So I had people to talk to, and they talked to me. They were curious about me. What was I doing there? I was curious about them. What were they about? And they told me their stories, and through their stories, I heard strength and resilience and a desperate hope for opportunity to be successful in society like everybody else. They actually told me, in their own words, they didn't want to be coddled, they didn't want to be helped, they wanted to help themselves. This slight message, this very powerful message, helped me make a very slight change in the way we operated our business. I know this sounds silly to anybody here who's a business person, but by focusing on customers and product, we actually started helping people because they understood that what they wanted to do was live outside of Amos House, not within our business. Our business was a supportive structure, but if we were serving customers, we were modeling the world that they wanted to be a part of. And by making that simple shift, the business began to thrive, and we began to help people in the way they wanted to be helped. And so, sitting outside the bathroom, listening to them, I began to understand what needed to happen and how to solve the business. The last chapter of my story is how I actually ended up at Brown. I was approached by Roger Nozaki, the director of the Swearer Center. He had a vision for creating a social entrepreneurship program at our school and approached me to explore my interest in the position. I had no idea what that would entail. I didn't really know much about the field of social entrepreneurship. Although I had an interest and knew that I belonged in teaching, I was petrified about teaching when I didn't really know the content. And so I didn't really take the offer seriously and asked him at least to introduce me to the students that he felt could use what I brought to the table. And he introduced me in the course of 2 or 3 weeks to several social entrepreneurs, students who had decided that they would change the world. I was hooked. I knew that I needed to find a way to make this work. Although I knew that I was petrified of being in front of a classroom. I was petrified about my inadequacy in my knowledge of social entrepreneurship. I knew I had to be there to be surrounded by this incredible energy of students who were going to change the world. I wanted to be part of their journey, and so I closed my eyes and I took a leap of faith and I said yes, and it changed my life forever. So why does this apply to you, young people, T-Gelf scholars who are trying to change the world? So let me take this story and apply it to one of my students that I'm working with today. Her name is Danny Flores. Danny is actually today in Kerala developing new technologies for rainwater harvesting and an innovative business model that sustainably sells water to villagers to recoup the money that was used to build the tanks so that the business can survive and grow and thrive. There are so many obstacles to this business, it's unfathomable to me, who have never set foot on the ground in Kerala, to understand what she faces. But each time she returns from India, she shows further commitment to this work. But something was holding her back from making a full commitment to working on this organization after she graduated. But she either wasn't able to understand it or wasn't able to articulate it until one day she came to my office. And she explained that her parents had left Cuba 20-some years ago to come to this country to create a life for her. And that going to the south of India didn't make any sense to her because it would disappoint them about the expectations she was carrying on her shoulders from them. She did not want to disappoint them. They had created this life for her. They had sacrificed everything for her. And so going down a path to be an entrepreneur in southern India, creating rainwater tanks, didn't sound like the kind of prestigious career that she was supposed to have. But she knew in each trip to India, each time they built a new tank, each time they had a conversation with their partners on the ground, she knew this is what she needed to do. About 3 months ago, she came into my office with a huge smile. She had talked to her parents over a break, and she was home in Miami. And she had shared her dream of working on Rainwater for Humanity full-time after she graduated. And to her surprise, her parents expressed pride in what she had done and support for what she wanted to do. Interestingly enough, they were extremely worried. Would she be able to support herself? Would she get a salary? Would she be safe in India? They had all these concerns, but they were with her by her side. And it gave her the ability to commit to what she, I think, really needs to do. I don't think there's any magic, but I hope today that you understand that there are things that you can do. You need to find that voice in your head, as Danny did when she was in southern India building rainwater tanks. You need to immerse yourself in the community and understand how to solve problems without imposing your own solutions. And most importantly, you need to find the courage to do what you're destined to do and close your eyes and jump. Thank you very much.
T-Gelf, leading the change.